Welcome to the Mad Marketing Show on Success Radio USA with host Alex Belding. Brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. Get your card today and start enjoying the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by going to 365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Now let's join our host for today's Mad Marketing Show, Alex Belding.
Hey. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and joining us here on the Mad Marketing Show. You can find us by going to our Facebook page, The Mad Marketing Show. You can also visit madcrane.com or head over to successradio.us, and you can visit us at that website where you can register for free. In fact, you'll even find a free ebook is delivered to your email after you register. And that's another place for you to find our show. If you're a podcaster or a fan of listening to these things anytime you want to, you can check us out on SoundCloud as well as iTunes, anywhere you can find your podcast. Simply search for The Mad Marketing Show and subscribe. Well, thanks again for tuning in. We are blessed with the presence of Maria Bay of Casa Bay Photography. Hello, Maria.
Hello, Alex. How are you? I'm just really happy to be here, actually.
That's awesome. Well, we're stoked to have you on the show. And the Mad Marketing Show is all about marketing.
Yeah.
And you are a awesome photographer, and you're here today to talk to us about using photos and imagery in our marketing and how that can really enhance and improve our marketing materials and ventures. But before we dive into all of that, tell us a little bit about Casa Bay. Tell us a little bit about Maria and why photography.
Well, photography, I kind of found it as an accident. I started dating this guy when I was 18, and he loved the camera. All he talked about was photography. We would take trips, and we went and we hiked mountains in Peru, and we would do all these things, and all he did was take pictures and talk about that, and he would take forever from getting, from just walking, take a long time. And I was really bored. So I decided I needed to learn some of the stuff he was talking about so that we could communicate. A couple of years later, he was bored with his camera, so he gave it to me, and he stopped doing photography. And I just loved it. I fell in love with the mechanics of the camera. I fell in love with what you can do once you know how to use them, and how you can express yourself, how you can capture others. And since then, I was a teacher, and I was studying psychology, and I married this crazy man, and we decided to travel the world. So we started with China. We moved to China, and because of the time difference in his job and my job as a teacher, our schedules never really worked together. So I started doing photography as a full-time job to allow me to have a flexibility in schedule, flexibility in the amount of work I wanted to take at a certain time, and when I could actually do this work, because I can do it in the middle of the night when I'm editing. And it's been 10 years since then. I started the studio in China. I worked in a magazine, and this is when I was not very experienced. So when they hired me in the magazine, they gave me tiny little frames for tiny little pictures that were terrible quality to work with. And the more I worked with them, the more space they would give me to put my pictures in. And before I knew it, in a year and a half, I was photographing headshots for their main investors and the main people. And in 3 years, I was photo editor of a magazine, which was great.
That's awesome.
So after that, after 3 years in China, we moved to Ukraine. I moved to business again, and I started working more with fashion and beauty in my own studio and with some publications. I've always been very... I always think that actually printing your work in a printed magazine is important for growth, and it's important for you as a photographer to push yourself. So I've looked for publication work the entire time I've been doing photography, and I've been lucky enough to say that I have been published in every single country that I've been a photographer in.
Oh, fun.
So after Ukraine, we ended up coming back to the States, and I moved to Boston, and I explored a little bit more about the topic of fine art photography as an artist and not necessarily as a commercial photographer, which is what I was doing before. And it was great. I learned a lot of new techniques. I won a lot of awards, but I realized that doing fine art photography was not something I wanted to do full time.
Okay.
So when we moved from Boston to Oregon, I opened the studio again as a family studio and headshot photography studio. Since then, it's been, we spent 3 years in Oregon, and then we moved here to Colorado Springs, and I've been here for about 8 months, and I have a successful studio that's running, and I'm really happy to be here.
Right. Well, and I really wanted to talk about, you took the words out of my next question, which is, where have you taken photos before?
Yeah,
so
everywhere.
So we've got China, we've got Ukraine, and then 3 locations in the United States.
Yeah.
What's that been like, operating in multiple cultures?
It's
with a camera.
It's challenging. Everywhere I move, every time I talk to photographers, or I talk to really anybody in the photography industry, there seems to be this idea in their heads that the room is too crowded. There's too many photographers. We're saturated. Everybody has a camera. Nobody's going to pay you money. You're not going to make enough money doing publication work, or you're not going to make enough money doing family work. You're not going to make enough money doing weddings. It's just this terrible area.
Right, the naysayers
exactly,
are everywhere.
and it's just the first thing you encounter. And I have found out that is not true. That is just something that people say to each other, and that's something that people use really as an excuse to excuse their own lack of success. And it's not because they don't want to succeed or they don't want to work hard, is they don't know how to do it. So me moving around as much as I have has allowed me to learn that every market is different. Every customer wants something different, and the customers in Boston want something completely different than the customers in Oregon.
Right.
So it is not my job to go and offer this thing. It's my job to go and figure out what my customer wants and how I can give them exactly that, so they can recommend me to other people that want this one thing I'm offering now.
Well, that is really well said, actually. That's like, so we're off topic already. So let's talk more about that. So delivering a service is simply that, right? A service is a service. A picture is a picture.
Yeah.
However, in Boston, in Oregon, in China, it's not. It's very specific to each individual market. So what you're saying is that you have really listened to the local community that you're in.
Yes.
And then taken that feedback to craft your business.
Exactly. I think that photographers, like many people that work in the creative industry, we consider ourselves artists above everything. And, that would be wonderful if I could go into a client shoot and do whatever it is that I wanted to do. But the truth of the matter is they're hiring me because of my skill to communicate a message they want to control. So it's important for a photographer and someone in the creative industry to understand that you are an artist second. You're a provider of services first. So in photography, it's not different than any other service. So if I am a store that sells cakes and I, bake this awesome carrot cake, but nobody buys it,
right,
I should not make it anymore. I should say, I'm going to make the carrot cake for myself when I'm hungry, but
right,
I'm going to make the chocolate cake that sells better. So like any business, you need to analyze your product and see exactly what it is that you like, that the customer wants, and provide that.
Oh, well, this is already off to a great start. I love the way this conversation has shaped itself. So, so relating that to you, it sounds like you've changed quite a bit. Like you were really starting in magazines, and then you've moved towards, you were saying a term that I'm not familiar with, which is commercial photographer. Can you maybe explain that a little bit more?
So you have different types of photography. A commercial photographer is someone who works with businesses and does a job where you're telling a story for someone else. You're not necessarily putting your spin in it. You are using your technical ability to produce something.
You're a conduit.
Basically. It follows a very specific mold that the client wants. So I used to do that when I was doing a lot of photography work for magazines. They send you in and, for example, I had to photograph a hotel, the lobby I had to photograph, and the new GM that they had. So you're doing this trying to follow a very specific request from a client. When you do other type of photography, you do fine art photography, you're just doing what you feel like you must do and moving in the direction that you are determining for yourself. So it's finding a happy medium in between both that I found that I can succeed.
And trying to ride the line of artistic desires, but the actual pragmatic realism that comes from being in business.
Exactly.
I really like that. So in photography, you are a conduit for what your customer is looking for, and you're providing the photos that they see themselves in.
Yes.
Even though you aren't, but in business, that's what we have to do. I love that.
You have to do it.
Don't bake a carrot cake if it doesn't sell.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay.
You need to understand it. You do this because you love it, but you're not going to be doing this for a long time if you're not profitable. So, yes, you want to love it and you want to be happy with what you do, but you also want to make money so you can continue doing it.
Right. And then and when there is profit, there is the ability to maybe do more artistic things or, in your free time, or find an artistic audience when you can search for it out, because that's probably a lot harder to find.
Yeah. And the art is finding that balance. And that to me was my entire career revolves around finding that balance between what's profitable and what's enjoyable.
Excellent. So find your balance in business. I did not expect our first little section of time to be so insightful. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you.
We're going to continue talking about photography and imagery here on the Mad Marketing Show. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsors.
Perfect.
Rena, how is a car like a computer?
I don't know. How?
If you don't do routine maintenance, they get gooped up and fail early. By performing routine maintenance, your system performance will be improved, keep it secure, and find issues while they were small.
Well, Elk Creek Computers will perform routine maintenance on your computers for $99 per system. Call us at 719-576-4122 to schedule an appointment today.
Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club. Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
are back. You are listening to the Mad Marketing Show. I am your host, Alex Belding, and we have Maria Bay of Casa Bay Photography in the studio with us today. And we are talking about photos and imagery in marketing.
In marketing.
And before the break, we had a wonderful insight from Maria about finding balance in business and how to make sure that you are delivering a service that's actually demanded, right?
Yes.
And there's actually a clientele for it and therefore a revenue stream. So how have you done that with photography? How have you maybe found clients and provided images that they're looking for?
So like I said before, I have moved from country to country and I have explored all the different types of photography that I was interested in for a long time. What I found is that every city is in demand of something different. So when I got to Colorado Springs, I came from Oregon, from a place where I was doing mostly headshots. That's what people wanted. The businesses just wanted a good headshot of the person and a couple of different images so they can, have like a little media package for themselves. Mm-hmm. When I got here to Colorado Springs, I started doing some research, and I like to meet with a lot of people and ask them, not offer my service, not like it's not a sales pitch. I just want to know what are their needs and what do they want,
right,
and why would they hire me and why wouldn't they hire me? So that's one of the biggest questions that I ask. And the more business people I met, the more business owners or entrepreneurs in general, they didn't necessarily want headshots, which I found interesting coming from, doing mostly headshots.
Right.
So I asked them what they wanted, and a lot of them, what they want is a whole media package. So I went from doing, the normal headshot session for X amount of money, you get this many pictures of yourself, to offering a completely different product that includes the headshots, but it fits more what people want. People want pictures of their business, pictures of themselves, and pictures of themselves doing business. So I just, instead of figuring out how many pictures would be included and stuff like that, what I did is I decided that it would take either a long time if it was a large company or a shorter time if it was a small company.
Right.
So I sell a day package or a half day package for marketing purposes. So
perfect.
The client can hire me and I'll come in for 3 hours and photograph the staff, the place, and what they do. Or if it's a larger company, I'll come in for a full day and photograph the staff, the place, and what they do. This has proven to be very successful for me. The clients really appreciate that approach because I am there listening to what they want and giving them exactly that. I'm not selling a product that they don't need, and
right,
they're not going to know what to do with once I hand it over.
Right. There's inherent value there.
Exactly. And I'm successful with that because of my sales process and the way my client comes in from just asking me about price and walking away from the consultation knowing exactly what to do with their pictures, how to promote their photos, what kind of photos we're going to take, because it's not about me showing up and making you look skinny next to the window. It's
which might be important.
It's great. I can make you look skinnier, but the main purpose is, what does your company do? Because a lot of people confuse a headshot with just a good picture of yourself.
Right.
And that sometimes can send a bad message. If I win an award for being awesomest networker person of the world and they publish my photo in a magazine and the photo they publish is me with my dog, I don't know, doing something funny, that does not necessarily fit the story of best networker.
Right, you should be in a group, or there should be people with you.
There should be people with you. So there is a story we tell through images that some people don't understand and they don't even think about before they meet with me.
Right.
So when they meet with me, I tell them, it's not just the picture. I want to know about your business. I want to know about the personality, the culture of your business and your employees so that I can communicate all of that through one photo. Mm-hmm. So if you have someone who tells you they are at the top of their game, they work with high-end clients, and it's a serious business, I'm going to photograph that person different than if I photographed someone who's just, I want to be relatable and fun. And, there is a different story. And being able to convey that to my clients in the consultation and telling them this is the story you want to tell, so that's the story that will be told, gives me a little edge with...
Well, and that's a perfect segue into a question I have for you, which is, because I tell people all the time, right? Like in the world of digital marketing and the web, photos are powerful. They're quick. They what do we mean? We have a famous saying: "A picture is worth 1,000 words." Could you imagine a website that was 1,000 words and that was it? You know, you'd have to have a Kindle in order to use the. People don't do that. But what I always struggle with too is that folks are so remiss to say, "Well, I'll just go take a bunch of photos," and that can work. But what you're saying, and what I usually tell folks is that, you know, these things are important. They need to be figured out and crafted, and maybe you have that internal ability.
Yes.
But arguably, you probably don't, and it's not a giant waste of time to bring someone like you in. What are some reasons to help people decide, hey, this is something I can do myself, or no, I need to get in touch with Maria, right?
So one of the things that I ask my clients to think about is anybody can take a good picture, and that is true. We live in a day where cameras are great and they're cheap and they're accessible. And if I give you a camera and I send you into the world, you're going to take 10,000 photos. One is bound to be spectacular. Mm-hmm. What I want clients or people in general to think about is, yes, I can take 1 out of 1,000 photos and it looks great. But when you have a website, when you're telling a story through digital media, you want to be consistent. It's not about, I took this great photo here. Is every single photo that I'm posting tells the same story, has the same style, and is consistently delivering a message that I, as the owner of the company, am controlling. It's not a one-off situation. Mm-hmm. So I tell clients, if you're having a fun event in the park and it's not necessarily conducive to telling your story, but it's a nice client appreciation day, that's okay. Have someone else take pictures. It's fine. Right. But if you're populating your website, if you're launching a campaign on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, if you're putting together a little like sales funnel, you want the imagery to be consistent and tell the story that you're controlling. So that's when you bring in a professional and you tell them, I want the images to show, for example, with me, with my own company, I don't sell quality of images. I don't sell equipment. I don't sell the actual photography. That's something that for me is taken, like you will get great photography. That's just a given. That's going to happen. What I sell is the process. It's going to be painless. It's going to be fun. So when I post pictures of my clients, they're always having fun. They never look upset or angry. Right. I show them laughing. If something funny happens, because I do photograph families, and that's like the love of my life. I love kids, and if I photograph kids, I want to show silly pictures of them doing silly things, because I want parents to understand that when you go on a shoot with me, it's okay to be silly. Mm-hmm. Kids will cry. It's fine. So I show all of those things, and I control my story and what I say.
Well, and in a way, that's what photos allow is a way to capture culture, a way to capture story succinctly. Yes. And very, very effectively. And then that's what marketing, you want to talk about how to communicate a value to a client. If you know they're looking for chocolate cake, and you take a good series of photos on the process of making chocolate cake from, actually making the batter to the buttercream frosting all the way to the beautiful finished product, you've created an arc that immediately draws the client in, and now they want to finish it. They need that slice.
Exactly. And you want to be able to show the client an image of themselves enjoying this. So, and I find that photographers that are trained can do that. They can sit down with the client and ask them, what do you want the person to feel when they see the photo? What do you want them to see? And if we're trained to control what we photograph to tell the story to the client. It's like, this is you enjoying the cake. Mm-hmm. And we photograph, like for me particularly, I focus on photographing two things. I photograph the product and how the product is used. So I'm going to take wonderful photos of the cake, the slice of cake, the everything around the cake. And then I'm going to photograph the client actually eating the cake and enjoying it, and how you can use this product in a birthday situation, in a surprise party situation. So you can tell that story in a faster way, in a more effective way, and in a way that looks that has better quality, so it conveys a higher price.
Right. Well, and absolutely, like you can totally see this when someone's like, "Hey, I want to capture the top of the market."
Yes.
But I'm going to populate my marketing with iPhone photos. Now that can work. There is a ton of reasons why that's fine. But generally speaking, it's probably not going to work.
There is nothing sadder to me than seeing a person that has invested thousands of dollars and hours putting together a beautiful website, a beautiful Facebook page, and all of this gorgeous road for the pictures to navigate in. And the pictures themselves are so bad, they take all the quality of everything goes down because they do not. The pictures are there to pull attention and make them understand.
Right.
It's like the icing on the cake that draws the attention into the content. And if you have beautiful content but nothing that pulls people into that content, it's wasted money.
Right. Well, in an era where content is king, I tell people all the time, the content begins with the imagery.
With the imagery.
It has to, because if you're scrolling through something, it's not the paragraph that caught your eye.
No.
It's the picture.
It's the picture
of that beautiful, moist slice of chocolate cake and the party hat. And oh my goodness, I have a birthday coming up, or my son or daughter has a birthday coming up.
Exactly.
And you interrupt people with imagery. And that's what marketing is all about. It's interrupting people in a polite manner.
Yeah, catching that attention in a fraction of a second so they can go into the content.
Yeah, and that is so important. And imagery there are only a few types of media that can really do that. And I think imagery is still the king of it. People are saying video is really important. I totally agree with that. But again, video does not capture that same setting the way a picture can, especially if you've got a snack or someone that's just going through to look.
Right.
Well, so this is the Mad Marketing Show. We've got Maria Bay in the studio of Casa Bay Photography, excuse me. And we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back talking about picture-perfect photos and why they are so important to your marketing. We'll be right back.
It gives clarity to problem solving. It increases production and focus on the job. It alleviates sleepless and restless nights and fends off stress and tension headaches. No, it's not the latest energy drink or health supplement. It's Legal Shield. Get peace of mind every day, every night, now and forever. Legal Shield. Get it.
To find out more about Legal Shield and how it can protect your family and your business, call Andrea at area code 719-243-3174. That's area code 719-243-3174. Legal Shield. Success Radio USA is always looking for ways to help you succeed. Whether it's offering a word of encouragement or sharing practical information that can give you the competitive edge. So you'll want to pay close attention to this. Our new sponsor, the 365 Grand Club, can give you the edge when conducting business in downtown Colorado Springs. You might want to entertain a potential client or just show appreciation to a loyal business partner. Either way, your new 365 Grand Club card is your passport to downtown Colorado Springs. Your club card gives you access to discounts, business perks, making new business connections, and the convenient private concierge service that makes getting around town hassle-free. Enjoy the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by visiting www.365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. Get yours this week and join the club, the 365 Grand Club. Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Hey, we're back. You're listening to The Mad Marketing Show. I am your host, Alex Belding, and we have Maria Bay of Casa Bay Photography in studio with us today, and we are talking all about photos. And before the break, we were really talking about how photos are a succinct and quick way to tell a really good story, and they can really accentuate and augment your content and your social media and your website. But while we were on commercial, while you guys were listening to commercial, Marie and I we continued to talk, and we were talking about something that she really thinks is important for entrepreneurs and business owners, and that I had never thought of. And you talked about a personal media packet. Not only does your brand need this, but you as an entrepreneur need this.
Yeah, a lot of people think that you need all these pictures of your business and all these pictures of, large companies will have a lot of photos and little branding packages of imagery that tell the story of the company consistently. But what I have found is, working for magazines as much as I have, is that is not necessarily true. When you are a solopreneur or a small business owner, it is as important for you to have that package as it is for your company, because we all navigate this networking circle, and we all try to get, we do speaking engagements. We are on little shows like this where we get interviewed by people, and we forget that our face is the face of our company. So I learned this, and like I said, I go from place to place, and I assess what people need, and then I'll build a package based on that. I used to work in a company in Oregon. I worked for a magazine doing photography for them, and one of my clients actually one of the people that I met through the magazine hired me to do headshots. And I did a little personal branding package where I do, the normal headshot. And then I do pictures that are, the full length of a person, or wide pictures, and a different arrangement of photos that can be used in publication specifically. Now, this particular person ended up going to a different magazine and bought a little eighth of a page ad with their photo and their business, and that was it. Now, when you work in the world of publication, you understand that it's changing fast, and sometimes an advertiser will pull out of the publication 2 days before printing day. And then you have the entire staff of the magazine not worried just about the printing and getting all of that ready, but worried about finding content for that space.
Right? Yeah.
So this specific advertiser had a 2-page spread, and the magazine people just went through every single person that had advertised in that magazine, in that issue, and looked at their photos to see if there was any photo that was high quality enough to be printed as a 2-page spread, or that would fit the layout that they already had, so they didn't have to change anything. And the only person that had enough images to be, to fit that space, to be flexible, was my client, because he didn't send one photo of his face.
He
sent a media package that I had prepared with tall portrait photos and landscape arrangements, with thinking about text on one side, title in the top. So basically, a day before printing, he gets a phone call saying, "You're no longer doing an eighth of a page. We're not charging you anymore, but we need to interview you, and you're going to be the feature person in this issue because your picture fits."
Right. Because you literally fill the space.
Because we don't
Not because you're special, but because you had the proper photos at the opportune time. Right?
Exactly. And that's what happens a lot in publication. Because a lot of people don't understand the world of it because they have not been involved in publication, but it changes fast, and a lot of the times you have to be flexible, and you have to fill in spaces that you don't really know what to put in there. And if you as an entrepreneur have a media package that has been prepared with publication in mind, it gives you an edge. And if you were ever going to be interviewed by a magazine.
Right, and if you're trying to get some accolades and get some local press.
Exactly. You don't want to just send one photo where you're not necessarily, your face. You want to be able to give them the flexibility to feature you as the expert in your field you want to be seen as.
Right. And you want that same story of your business to bleed over into the... And I also find it to be funny that sometimes I will see a Facebook profile picture in the Colorado Springs Business Journal, and you're like, oh,
exactly,
man, they really had to work hard to make that fit photo work.
I have also seen a couple of clients that have hired me and they call me, a Wednesday, and they say, oh, I have this magazine ad happening on Friday, and we need to figure this out really quick. And I will figure it out. There's also a fee for, like a rush fee for me doing this thing so fast. But if people would do what I consider necessary, it's like every 2 years, renew your media package. Mm-hmm. Hire a photographer, get them to do between 6 to 8 photos of yourself that tell the story of who you are and what you do, and control that story. And every single time you get featured in a magazine, send the media package. Every time that you win an award, you send the media package. It allows people to see the image that you have created and that and hear the story you want told. So, like you said in the Business Journal, if you have a picture that was taken from Facebook and the person is winning, I don't know, awesomest entrepreneur of the world, it doesn't tell the story of professionalism that you want to tell. So a media package is important for a business and a person as an individual. Well,
and it allows the publication the flexibility to create a different layout or showcase you in a different way and just make the article interesting visually, right? And now you'll get more engagement just because of its layout.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that people need to understand in the world of photography now, publications are no longer hiring a staff photographer. They're buying, and it was big news, a lot of big magazines and newspapers fired their entire photography staff. Because, like I said, nowadays, anybody nowadays can take a somewhat professional photo.
Well, it was probably because the demand of their clients, well, I don't need to have you pay for the photographer, I'll shoot the photos.
Exactly.
Right?
And what happens now is like the magazine will choose to buy a $400 camera and give it to the writer and say, hey, you who are a writer, I'm going to give you a camera, you take a photo. The photo will be, good enough to be printed. But if you are going to be interviewed in a magazine, wouldn't you want to be able to have a say in what your photo looks like? Because if you're going to have all this time and effort into writing a story and
crafting an image,
and crafting an image, if they send someone who doesn't know what they're doing and they just, what they're going to do, because I have seen it done, and I have been that person. When I first started my career, I was the person that was writing the story and they would get a camera to, and I would just go take terrible photos. And I would just make you stand, they just make you stand there. It's like they take 3 or 4 photos,
wall, right?
Stand there, and that's the photo that accompanies your professional image. Magazines will be super happy if you just send them a file and said, all the images are here, all I need is a writer.
Right, and let your creative designer or your art director pick their favorite that fits.
Exactly.
Because no matter which one you pick of these, it fits the persona, it fits the image. And again, if you're crafting an image, the image of that should be important, right?
And, if you think about it in terms of money and dollars, you're going to pay, if you're going to be featured in a magazine or you're going to run an ad, you're going to pay thousands of dollars. If you're going to pay thousands of dollars on something that you want people to see and your client to see, wouldn't you want the client to see an image you can control?
Right.
Because hiring a photographer, it's not going to be thousands of dollars just for a media package. It can run, between $500 to $700. And it's something that lasts for 2 years.
Right.
So why wouldn't you make that investment that is going to make every other investment more effective and, get a better message?
Well, and again, if photography is storytelling, and I really do think in many things, marketing is storytelling, you need to have quality images as part of that story.
Exactly.
And if the story is you and you are an entrepreneur being talked about as your individual self, that's a whole separate story from your business, right? And I had never even thought of that, and I'm an entrepreneur and I aspire to greatness, and oh my gosh, what would I, if the CSBJ came a knocking, which they won't, but maybe they would, I would be woefully underprepared. I would be one of those guys that, Maria, oh my gosh.
And time and time again with my clients is they get the opportunity and they don't have the images to go with it, so they back away from it.
Right. They actually pull out. Oh my goodness. Yes. Right. They lose the press instead of, oh man, that's even worse.
Exactly. So, and I've seen it, especially, and it's sad to say, but especially with women. They're worried about the image that they already have that they don't like, or the Facebook photo that they would send, and they end up saying no to it. And I've also seen other people that just send the Facebook page, and then you have this big billboard with the speakers that are going to be gracing us with their presence in the wonderful workshop, and you have professional person, and Facebook picture. And it's just
subliminally labels you.
Exactly. Right. It's like the lesser quality of everybody. It's like, oh, that speaker's probably not as good as the other ones because their image is not as good.
Right. Or it's a photo of them with their arms wrapped around
something.
But it's cropped. They've been cropped out. Right?
The wedding photo is usually the ones like, oh, I was wearing a nice
this
dress.
Was a professional photo. I was in a suit when this happened. Even though you can't see my hands, but you can see my armpits. Like,
the cropped photo. That's a pet peeve of mine.
Well, it's very common. Like if you start to look at photos with any level of detail, you see them all the time. Like, oh, this photo was never intended to be where it is right now.
Exactly. And it doesn't. And the funny thing is, if you as a client see that, the story that you have perceived from that is this person didn't have the time or the budget to worry about this.
Right. Or was unprepared.
Exactly.
Or is not as professional as they may appear.
They're just winging it. Mm-hmm. And you don't want your client to think that. You want them to think you're prepared and on top of it. And
you want to be controlling
the message,
the story from start to finish, whether it's marketing or whether it's your photos. And they're all together on this. That's
exactly.
This has been a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We've got one more segment coming up. You are listening to the Mad Marketing Show, and we have Maria Bay in the studio. After a quick note from our sponsors, we'll be right back. Is your business on Facebook? Are you frustrated with how your website performs? Do you have a focused and measurable marketing plan? Are you struggling in executing your marketing plan? Well, tune in every Tuesday to the Mad Marketing Show and learn from the people who are actually making it happen. The internet is a convoluted and busy place. Learn how to cut through the noise with the Mad Marketing Show. New episodes air every Tuesday on Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Find us on Facebook at Mad Crane Marketing and post your digital marketing questions. You can find us on SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and iTunes by searching for Success Radio USA or The Mad Marketing Show. You can also visit us on the web at madcrane.com to learn more.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial financial life, use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Hello, I'm Chuck Bader.
And this is Jerry Evans.
And you're invited to join us on Profiles of Success, where we feature stories of successful businesses and successful individuals.
You can find us on TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, or Stitcher by searching Success Radio USA. Or go to our website at successradio.us.
Our current program is available every day, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. We air new programs on every Monday. These are programs which are designed to guide you along your path of success, to provide you with the information, the inspiration, and the motivation to achieve your goals. Right here on Profiles of Success on Success Radio USA.
Listening to Success Radio USA at successradio.us. Success Radio USA is committed to helping you achieve a positive daily approach to your success each and every day. Thank you for listening.
Success Radio USA.
Listening to the Mad Marketing Show. I am your host, Alex Belding, and we have Maria Bay in the studio today of Casa Bay Photography. And we have really been talking about how to properly do photos in your marketing, whether it's a media packet for you as an entrepreneur, a media packet for you as a business, how to consistently maintain story through your photos, because that's really important. But I know I have an audience out there of do-it-themselvers, right? And as much as it might make sense for them to hire professional people like myself and you, they may not be able to, right? There's a myriad of reasons why. But what could somebody that has heard this show and gone, oh man, this all makes sense. I do need to have a diversified portfolio of photos for my business, for me as an entrepreneur, and the story of my product or service. How could they maybe try to do this themselves? What are some tips?
So there's really a couple of things that I would recommend if you're going to do it yourself, which is perfectly fine. We all start somewhere. You know, it may not be something that you can do right now, is hiring a photographer. Maybe you're going to do it later, but you need something now. The first thing that I do with a client is we sit down and plan. So if you're going to do it yourself, sit down and plan too. Brainstorm. Think about who you are. And there's a huge group of photographers and number of photographers that believe that a good headshot is a headshot of you being yourself and genuine. That is great if you're your brand. If you are not your brand and you're building something a little bit different than who you are as a person, which is my case, for example, Casa Bay Photography is not Maria Bay. That's why the name is different. You need to figure out what the personality of your business is. what this thing looks like. So if I'm going to do a photo, my business, is it an outdoor business? Is it a fun business? Or is it a serious, more professional business? And craft the photo based on that idea. Not what you like, but what the business is. So if your business is a serious business, think about what you're going to wear. You're not going to wear a t-shirt and shorts. You're not going to post a photo of yourself with a dog running in the park. You're going to post a photo where you look professional and serious. So you're going to wear maybe a little blazer. Think of your background. A lot of photographers, especially photographers who are beginning, make this mistake. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're not a photographer, you're definitely going to fall into this, which is people don't look at the background of the photo. And I saw it recently. A group that I belong to changed the cover photo. It's a hand exchanging a card with another hand, which is great. But if you look at the background of the photo, there's feet and there's chairs and there's some trash in the background. So that's not an effective story. So if you're going to tell your photos, you need to figure out the personality of your business and craft the photo based on that, and make sure that the background and the location you use also tell the story that you're wanting to tell, and there's no weird photo bombers behind you. Another thing that I would recommend is don't take the photo yourself. It's really difficult as a professional photographer. It's difficult for me to take a photo
with a timer.
Don't do that. Grab a friend who's nice. Make sure that you're photographing really in the morning, early morning. I'm not talking 9 or 10, like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning. When the sun is not out there, you're avoiding harsh light, which is sun directly on you. You're photographing in shadows. They're easier. It's easier for the beginner to get a good exposure if you're in the shade. Make sure someone else is taking the photo so they can tell you where to stand within the frame. And also think about what you're going to use the photos for. If you're going to use a photo for a LinkedIn profile, it's a very different photo than if you're going to use it for a mailer or a postcard. So in your planning stage, you need to write down what you use the photos for. And if you're going to use it for a postcard, think of what you want the postcard to look like and have your friend take that photo.
Nice.
It sounds very basic, but a lot of people just go out and they don't have any idea if they want a big, a large photo with tons of background or a really cropped photo. So planning all of those stuff out and having it written down when you walk outside to take your photos, it's going to make your job a lot easier and faster.
Well, and that's a perfect example of why sometimes do it yourself is hard, because people hear the word do it, and so they jump to action before they think and before they plan. And I really that's really excellent advice. And also bringing along a friend or a spouse.
Yeah. Or it's usually the spouse that suffers through this, and they're happy to be there. But make their job easier by telling them exactly what they need to do and what the expectation is. Because especially with someone who's not used to doing it and they don't know what they're doing, they're just trying to help. It's really easy to get frustrated with them, and it's really easy to blame them for what happened, when actually, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, it's your job to plan it out and write it down and figure out what you want.
Right. So maybe even draw it a little.
Exactly.
And get an idea on paper.
I do that with my clients. In our consultation, we sit down and I will draw it. And I say, the photo looks like this, and my best stick figure thing, I will tell them you're here. So if you do publication, we can put the text here, and have for me, it's an easy thing to visualize something, but my clients don't have that ability, so I need to figure that out. So planning it out, drawing it is a great way of doing your own headshots yourself, really, with a friend, but taking care of that without hiring a professional.
Right. Well, okay, excellent. So if we were going to succinctly wrap that up, we would say plan. We would say pay attention to the details, right?
Yes. Don't just wear your favorite
focus
shirt
on the foreground, but focus on what's behind you as well.
Exactly.
And then the last thing is have some help. Is to
definitely
bring a second person with you.
Yes.
Or train a dog, right? That might be a whole new avenue for you. Well, so let's say the do-it-themselvers struggle with this, and they go, okay, I need professional photos. My gosh, it's time. I've been pushing these tired old photos with different, with all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
What would you tell folks that are maybe starting to search for a photographer? How do you go about finding the photographer that is right for you?
One of the first things is ask yourself how frequently you're going to use the photos, and the importance of the photos, how important they are in your marketing strategy. If I am going to, use three photos, and maybe I'm going to use them maybe once every 2 months, just because I put them in my cards and every time I reprint them, it's not necessarily something I need to give a high priority to, so I am not going to hire the best of the best photographer. However, if I do a lot of online marketing, if I am going to repopulate my website, if I am going to do a lot of publication, maybe it's worth hiring someone who's a little bit more prepared, that can give you enough material that you can use over and over again. So what I would say is, first ask yourself why you need the images. How frequently are you going to use them? And then based on that, shop the photographers. There's photography for $50. There's photography for $5,000. It's like buying a car. You can buy something that will get you from point A to point B, and you can buy something spectacular that's going to make you feel great and give you a massage while you're driving.
Right.
So figure out where in that broad spectrum your needs are, and hire one step up.
Yes.
Because what happens is a lot of people fall into I'm just going to go for the cheapest, or my friend who is, he does real estate, he's going to take my headshot. Photography is the art of specialization. So basically, a photographer who's spectacular at taking real estate may not know how to work with a person, may not know how to make you stand, where to make you stand, what lens is more flattering, what lens is going to compress the background to make it look like it's closer, farther away, blurrier, sharper. They don't know how to use a flash to be, to make you look slimmer if that's what you want, to make you look more important. So you want
vice versa. A portrait photographer might
not know how to photograph a house. I don't know how to photograph a house. Don't hire me to photograph a house. I can refer you to someone who's an expert in doing that.
Right.
You need to look for a portrait photographer, someone who's an expert in photographing people. You need to look for a portrait photographer that photographs business people. Because if you work with a 2-year-old and you can make the 2-year-old laugh, it's very different than getting a grown person.
52-year-old lawyer.
Comfortable in his space and looking great. So it's a completely different workflow. So you need to hire someone that does exactly what you're looking for. And look at their portfolio. Photography is one of those things that I consider sometimes is very easy to be fooled. You want to look for a large number of photos that look exactly like what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for photos of women that make them look great, comfortable, professional, and approachable, I need to see exactly that in their portfolio.
Right.
Because it's a different skill, it's a different thing. So look for that, and don't walk in with a budget set in mind.
Right.
Walk in with a quality of work that you want to walk away with. And then work that budget with a photographer and figure out how you can make their work and their budget fit you. It's not about me walking in with money and saying, this is what I can do or this is what I have.
Absolutely.
It's more of what the photographer can do for me and how we can work together.
Wonderful. Good. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you on the Mad Marketing Show. Maria, we have been talking to Maria Bay of Casa Bay Photography. What is the easiest way for folks to get in touch with you?
The best way is give me a call. I like to talk to people and figure out what they need and how we can work together. Everything that I do is customized to the specific client, so they can give me a call. My number is 541-600-4171. If they want to see my work, they can go to casabay.photography. That's my website. They can browse through there. There's also a contact form, so they can contact me through the website.
Wonderful. And I assume you're on Facebook as well?
And on Facebook, Casa Bay Photography, and Instagram, Casa Bay Photo.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. You have been listening to the Mad Marketing Show, and you can find us by going to our Facebook page at Success Radio USA or the Mad Marketing Show. You can also visit us on the web at successradio.us or madcrane.com. If you go to Success successradio.us, we would invite you to register for a free account. You'll also have the opportunity to get a free ebook after registration, and that's a great way to tune into shows, other shows on Success Radio, as well as the Mad Marketing Show. If you're a podcaster, tune into where you get your podcasts, search for the Mad Marketing Show, and like us and follow us there. Thank you so much for listening to the Mad Marketing Show. Have a mad day.
You have been listening to the Mad Marketing Show on Success Radio USA with host Alex Belding. Brought to you in part by the 365 Grand Club, Colorado Springs' only elite urban downtown club. So start enjoying the benefits of downtown with ease and prestige. Get your club card today by going to 365grandclub.com. That's 365grandclub.com. God bless you, and see you all next week on the Mad Marketing Show right here on Success Radio USA.